And welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global TV. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now the news in full. The embattled former Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele has arrived at the Ikeja State High Court in Lagos for his arraignment over alleged abuse of office and allocation of billions of dollars. Emefiele, alongside his co-defendant, one Henry Isioma Omole, who will be arraigned on fresh 26 counts before Justice Rahman Oshodi this morning in the charge dated April 3, 2024. The FCC alleged that Emefiele abused his office between 2022 and 2023 in Lagos. The commission alleged that the former CBN governor directed to be done in abuse of Nigeria and Arbitrary Act to wit, allocating foreign exchange in an aggregate sum of $2,136,397.33 without bids, which act is prejudicial to the rights of Nigerians. The World Health Organization has warned that the disease and disaster loom large as causes of death and disability. The organization said this in its message on Sunday to commemorate the 2024 World Health Day. The World Health Day is a global health awareness day celebrated every year on April 7th to provide an opportunity to focus world attention on a health problem or issues that deserves special attention. It said its Council on the Economics of Health for All has found that at least 140 countries recognize health as a human right in their constitution, yet countries are not passing and putting into practice laws to ensure their populations are entitled to access health services. Abia State Governor Dr. Alex Otti has said the state has paid all arrears of pensions dating back to 2014, which was owed to about 12,500 pensioners. Otti, who disclosed this at Government House Umahia, vowed that pensioners will never be owed their pensions again. He said that Abia pensioners will be receiving their 100% monthly pensions alongside workers on or before the 28th of every month. The governor further disclosed that payment of accumulated pensions in the state has greater positive impact on the economy of the state, and it has injected money into the system. Kogi State Governor Ahmed Ododo assured improvement in welfare of civil servants in the state. Governor Ododo made this known in a briefing after an interactive session with leaders of organized labor in the state. The governor, who was speaking in the company of leaders of the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC), the Trade Union Congress (TUC), and other labor unions in the state, noted that the meeting with the labor leaders was to review critical steps as far taken by the state government to address the impact of economic downturn in the state, especially as they affect workers in the public sector. Operators of National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have arrested 2 men for trafficking illicit drugs. The agency's Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, shared this information via his X account. Along with intercepted contraband, Babafemi stated that one of the suspects was traveling with a stolen identity and many wraps of cocaine in his stomach. He had to retch, vomit, and excrete to stay alive. Another set, armed with charms to escape, but still got caught. Agro Rangers of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps have repelled an attack by suspected bandits on the federal government's grain silo in the Disamami local government area of Katsina State. The chairman of the NSCDC, Buhari Hamisu, said in a statement in Katsina that the attack occurred on April 6 at about 1 a.m. According to him, the bandits wanted to destroy the silo and abduct its manager, Lawal Shitu Yaradua, but the Agro Rangers responded swiftly, engaging the bandits in a fierce gun duel for over 2 hours. Former Minister of Defense and presidential candidate of the New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, in the 2023 presidential election, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, has said that Nigeria has all the required manpower and resources to end the current insecurity in the country. Speaking in Abuja during the mini-national convention of the NNPP, Senator Kwankwaso said that if well-equipped, the nation's military can nip in the bud the present security challenges confronting the country. Kwankwaso noted that against the backdrop of happenings in the country, there are strong indications that the country was in serious need for change in the style of leadership, as both the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and All Progressive Congress, APC, have both failed the nation. The former Kano governor said, "We have taken note of the challenge of the day because in many states, especially in northern Nigeria, our children are not going to schools now because of insecurity, because of poverty, and so on. By implications, we are saying we do whatever it takes to ensure security and ensure that poverty is eradicated." Officers of the Nigerian Police Force, NPF, have expelled and emerged the best at the just concluded U.S. Special Program for Embassy Augmentation Response, SPARE, team mission at Amman, Jordan. The training was designed to enhance the team's skill in responding to various emergencies and tactical situations. The program was conducted by the U.S. Navy SEALs and covered a wide range of topics, including several tactical drills and assessments, ensuring a well-rounded and thorough leading experience. This achievement not only demonstrates their dedication of professional growth, but also strengthens the capabilities of Nigerian Police Force towards improved service delivery and sustainable national security and safety. You're watching Midday News coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using at Global TV and other handles now showing on your screen. When Midday News returns, BDC operators ask CBN to lower exchange rate. There's more stories coming right after this break. Do stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of Midday News. Thank you for staying with us. Over now to our foreign desk, Baghdad is repairing a pipeline that could allow it to send 350,000 barrels per day, BBD, to Turkey by the end of the month, an Iraqi deputy oil minister said, a step likely to rail oil foreign companies and Kurdistan regional government. The reopening of Turkish pipeline, which has been shut for a decade, will provide a river route to pipeline from Kadesh. Let's quickly go on a quick break. Midday News returns shortly. You're welcome back from a very quick break. And Baghdad is reopening a pipeline that could allow it to send 350,000 barrels per day, BPD, to Turkish by the end of the month. An Iraqi deputy oil minister said, a step likely to rail oil foreign companies and Kurdistan Regional Government, KRG. The opening of Kirkuk-Karyan pipeline, which has been shut for a decade, would provide a rival route to a pipeline from the Kurdistan region that has been shut for a year as talks between Baghdad and the KRG on resuming exports have stalled. Baghdad deems production sharing agreement between the Kurds and foreign companies using the KRG's pipeline illegal. Populist Peter Pellegrini has been elected president of Salva Kiir, succeeding the liberal Zuzana Kuputova. Pellegrini, 48, prevented the pro-Western Ivan Kokark, a former diplomat, with 53% of the vote. He is an ally of Prime Minister Robert Fico and shares a Prime Minister dovish attitude towards Russia. Fico and his allies now control Slovakia's parliament government and soon the president's office. Slovakia have been one of the Ukraine's staunchest allies before Fico's came to power in October on a pledge to halt supplies of Slovak army military stocks to Kyiv, With Palangeni replacing Kapotova, Ukraine has now definitely lost a voice of support in the EU and NATO capital. Russian President Vladimir Putin will travel to China in May for talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping in what the Kremlin chief's first overseas trip of his new presidential team. Moscow and Beijing declared a no-limit partnership in February 2022 when Putin visited Beijing just days before Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, targeting the deadliest land war in Europe since World War II. The Russian foreign minister will talk with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi on a series of hot topics that will also include joint cooperation in international organizations such as United Nations and the Group of 20 G20 Moscow had said earlier. On business, the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, has expressed the commitment of the federal government to support mining companies that place premium on local content in their operations. Speaking during a site tour of the Singalola Resources Operating Limited, an indigenous gold mining company located within Imagbora, Ipenido, Odo, Ijesha, Ogun State, the minister lauded the extensive work that has gone into the faculty, expressing delight that over 95% of its staffs are Nigerians, urging other operators to take a cue from them. Samuel Odi tells us more.
The Minister of Solid Mineral Development urged the mining companies to emulate the international best practice of the Segilola Gold Project to develop the sector. Commending high Nigerian component of the project, Alake remarked that the firm has applied local content in its procurement and employment policies. The minister praised the company's tenacity of purpose and efficient method deployed to push through with its vision despite daunting challenges at inception.
Harmonious relationships bring fertile and robust engagements, which lead to safer, saner, peaceful, free and unfettered operating environment, which will lead to your maximizing your output, your production, and invariably your profit. And it's a symbiotic relationship because the host communities will also stand to gain. And the gains, the samples of these gains I have seen myself here today, and it's very, very commendable. There are so many mining companies who also sign community development agreements, but fall short in delivery. You have, in fact, overshot the bounds of delivery.
Alake stressed that the focus has been to redirect local and international attention to the mining sector. He revealed that the implementation of the 7-point agenda is to reposition the mining sector, emphasizing the imperative of humorous relationship with the host communities. Alake lauded SROL for overshooting its community development target, urging mining companies across the country to follow suit to ensure safer, unfiltered operating environment which will accumulate in maximum benefactors for both operators and the host community and government.
With the focus of your vision as a company, with the exemplary knowledge that you have displayed in putting in place this very laudable project here, and with the tenacity of your courage in surmounting institutional, corporate, individual, communal obstacles and challenges along your way.
In his remark, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Segilola Resource, Segun Lawson, stated that the company is a world-class project powered by Nigerians, appealing for support from the federal government to enable its scale-up and contribute better to the economy of the country.
First stage was proving it up, the gold resource. Then after proving it, we were taking it to a preliminary feasibility study. That was in October 2017. After the preliminary feasibility study, we took it to a bankable feasibility study. That was in February 2019. And then from that point forward, it was about seeing if we could get the project funded. In order to build this project, we needed to raise about $120 million. That took about 1 year to put together. From the end of our feasibility study, February 2019, to when we broke ground was March 2020, so just over 1 year. Needless to say, we had the COVID pandemic, where Nigerian airspace was closed at the end of March 2020, but we persevered through that, and we managed to build the mine. It took 15 months to build, and we poured our first bar of gold in July 2021. And our new focus now is trying to extend the mine life to have a longer-term production.
The minister, in his response, pledged the support of the federal government for SROL, particularly because it promotes local content and positively impacts the host communities with developmental projects. I'm Samuel Odi, reporting for Global Television.
The Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, recorded a 63.6% growth in its net operating surplus for 2023 to 1.37 billion naira. Speaking at the annual general meeting AGM of the Institute today in Lagos, the President Chairman of Council CIBN, Dr. Ken Opara, said that the net operating surplus crossed the 1 billion naira area marked for 2023. According to Opara, the Institute also recorded a 34.7% growth in revenue and a 9.11% increase in assets in 2023. Similarly, total revenue grew from 2.065 billion naira recorded in 2022 to 2.782 billion naira in 2023, representing 34.7% growth, while total assets grew from 7.8 billion naira in 2022 to 9.11 billion naira in 2023. The cost-to-income ratio of the year ended December 31st, 2023 stood at 50.72%, down from 59.41% in the corresponding period in 2022. This ratio is way below the approved Governing Council threshold of 61% of 2023 financial year. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has dragged the Senate President Godswill Akpabio to court over the failure to refer the alleged 3.7 trillion naira budget padding to appropriate anti-corruption agencies for investigation and prosecution, and to recall Senator Abdul Ningi, who blew the whistle on the allegations. The suit was filed April 5th at the Federal High Court Abuja by SERAP's lawyer Kolawale Oluwadare, who is also the organization's deputy director, and Adelake Aremu. The organization added that Akpabio is sued for himself and on behalf of all members of Nigeria's Senate. The Association of Bureau d'Echange Operator of Nigeria has appealed to the Central Bank of Nigeria to adjust and lower its applicable exchange rate between 1,251 naira to a dollar, pegged for its members. APCON National President Aminu Gwabado stated this in a letter to the CBN Director, Trade and Exchange Department. The appeal comes from the parallel market rate of 1,235 naira to a dollar is lower than the BDC's applicable buying exchange rate of 1,251 naira to a dollar plus a 1.5% margin, set by the CBN, the lowest tranche of interventions. Gwadabe lamented that the naira's speedy recovery made CBN's selling rate to BDCs very expensive and difficult to offload to retail end buyers, who are going to the undocumented forex operators to cheaper rates. As controversies continue to trail the federal government's recent removal of electricity subsidy for over 1.8 million customers categorized to be a Band A feeders, members of the organized private sector has insisted that the hike must be suspended for review, as much as plans are to meet President Bola Tinubu on this matter. The OPS, including the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, and the Nigerian Employees Consultative Association, disclosed this. Members of OPS had earlier rejected the traffic hike and called for the suspension of the subsidy removal, saying that it would be discussed at the planned meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu soon. The NEC announced the hike in electricity bill at the press briefing in Abuja, adding that those affected would now pay a tariff of 225 per kilowatt hour, up from the previous rate of 68 per kilowatt an hour, representing about 240% increase. The government declared that the decision took effect from Wednesday last week, but the Nigeria Labour Congress, as well as the Trade Union Congress, kicked against the high tariff for power users, regardless of the band they belong to. In sports, Sunday football witnessed another of many rivalry clashes between Manchester United and Liverpool at the Old Trafford Stadium. At the season's Premier League journey nearing its end with less than 10 games to be played, The battle for the top four and eventual league winner has been caught up in a roller coaster of wins and losses as teams fight off the relegation zone and jostle for European football qualification. Man United is somewhat cautious of today's match despite earning a 4-3 extra time win over Liverpool in the FA Cup quarter-finals last Sunday. And that's it on Midday News, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Remember, we're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. See you again. Good afternoon.